Before you stay at Kidani Village at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, there are 10 things you need to know. And I'm taking you on a Kidani Village walkthrough to show you exactly what they are. We're starting with some of the coolest details hidden in the resort's design, then getting into the Savannas, a dining drawback I would definitely want to know before booking, transportation advantages, and who I think Kidani is actually best for. And make sure you stay until number 9, where I'm sharing an option to experience this gorgeous resort, including the atmosphere and animals, without even having to book a room here. Before we get started, if you love detailed Disney planning tips and honest family travel experiences, make sure you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of our Animal Kingdom Lodge series. I'm Ashley, a mom of 4, and I want to start with one of the coolest things about Kidani, because once you know what this resort was actually designed to represent, you start noticing details everywhere. The word Kidani means necklace in Swahili, and the entire resort was designed around that idea. If you look at the shape of the building, the long villa wings represent the beads of a necklace. The connecting sections are like the knots between those beads, and the lobby and entrance represent the ornament or jewel at the center. But the Imagineering details actually begin before you even enter the lobby. At the covered entrance or porte-cochere, you start seeing 3 themes repeated throughout Kidani: African fabric, African artwork, and African proverbs. One of the proverbs associated with the resort is proverbs are like butterflies. Some are caught, some fly away. And butterflies are worked into the design around some of these proverbs. You'll also see patterns inspired by traditional kente cloth from Ghana and Kuba cloth from Central Africa, worked into architectural and decorative elements. Then once you get inside, look up. The warm glass lighting is designed to create that glowing, flickering fire feeling that you see throughout the lobby. And throughout Animal Kingdom Lodge, what you're looking at isn't simply generic safari-themed decoration. The resort is known for having one of the largest collections of African art in the United States. So when you see masks, sculptures, textiles, carvings, or other pieces throughout Kidani, I think it's worth actually slowing down and looking at them. And one fun detail for Hidden Mickey fans, look closely at the Sanaa baskets on the wall and tell me if you see any Hidden Mickeys. So this is one of the resorts where the more closely you look, the more you start finding. Obviously, one of the biggest reasons people stay at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge is the wildlife. Across the Savannas, there are more than 200 animals and birds representing over 30 species. And something that's interesting is that the different savannas don't necessarily have all of the same animals. Kidani has access to Pembe Savanna, where you may see different species, including the okapi. And just a quick fun fact about the okapi, even though those striped legs might make you think it's related to a zebra, its closest living relative is actually the giraffe. But something else I think is really interesting is that the animal experience here doesn't have to end with the sun going down. Kidani Village is also where guests check in for Disney's Starlight Safari. That experience takes guests out into the savannas after dark in an open-sided safari vehicle, and you're actually given night vision devices to help spot the animals. So if wildlife is one of the main reasons you're considering Kidani, there are ways to experience these animals beyond simply hoping one walks past your balcony. And remember, these are real animals moving around on their own schedule. You might walk outside and immediately see giraffes or zebras, or you may have to sit and wait a little bit. And Kidani was actually designed to give you places to do exactly that. One thing I would definitely know before booking Kidani is that it doesn't have the same kind of traditional all-day indoor quick service restaurant that Jambo House has with the Mara. Kidani's main restaurant is Sanaa, which is table service for lunch and dinner. Sanaa also has quick service breakfast in the morning, and you can find food at places like the pool bar during operating hours, but this is not the same setup as walking downstairs to a large resort quick service restaurant at almost any time of day. So imagine coming back from a park late with hungry kids and everybody just wants something quick. You may have fewer convenient options right here at Kidani than you would at Jambo House. For more traditional quick service choices, you may find yourself heading over to the Mara at Jambo House. I don't think this would stop me from staying at Kidani, but it's exactly the kind of detail I'd want to know before I booked, especially with kids. And you can always mobile order at the Sanaa too, so that's a good workaround. And this leads me into something else that can be confusing if you've never stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge before. Kidani Village and Jambo House are both part of Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, but they're separate buildings and they feel very different. Jambo House is the original larger main lodge, the building with that massive dramatic lobby most people picture when they think of Animal Kingdom Lodge. Kidani Village opened later as part of Disney Vacation Club, or DVC, and it was designed around villa accommodations. Jambo House has nearly 1,200 rooms, while Kidani has fewer than 500, and you really do feel that difference. Jambo feels busier, larger, and much more grand. Kidani feels quieter, smaller, and almost more residential. But staying at Kidani does not mean you lose access to everything over at Jambo House. You can still go over there to explore the lobby, eat at Boma, Chico, or the Mara, and enjoy other areas of the resort. So if you're deciding between the two, I would describe it like this. Jambo gives you the grand hotel experience, Kidani gives you the quieter villa experience. And which one is better really depends on the type of vacation you want. One of my favorite areas at Kidani is this fire pit beside the Savanna overlook. You have the fire, rocking chairs, the Savanna directly in front of you, and places where you can literally sit and wait to see the animals wander into view. And I think this area perfectly explains Kidani. Disney World vacations can be incredibly fast-paced, but Kidani is almost built around giving you reasons to stop. You can sit by the fire, watch the animals, talk with cast members about what you're seeing, and just stay here for a while. This is important when you're deciding whether Kidani is worth it for your vacation. If you plan to leave the resort first thing in the morning, stay in the parks until closing, and basically only come back here to shower and sleep, you may not get nearly as much value out of what makes Kidani special. Because a big part of the experience here is simply having time to be at the resort. I think this is one of the places where intentionally scheduling a resort afternoon or resort evening can completely change how you feel about your stay. I'm going to keep this one simple because there's one Kidani Villa feature I think families should really pay attention to: the bathrooms. Kidani has more bathrooms in some of its larger villa categories than many comparable deluxe villas at other Disney resorts. If you have several people trying to shower and get ready for early entry at the same time, this can make a huge difference. The larger villas also have features like full kitchens and in-room laundry, but if I were comparing Kidani with another Disney Vacation Club resort for a larger family, the bathroom count is something I would absolutely check. One of the biggest complaints you hear about Animal Kingdom Lodge is it's too far away from everything. But I think part of that reputation is really a transportation issue, not necessarily just a location issue. There's no Skyliner, there's no monorail, and you can't walk from Kidani to one of the theme parks. But if you have your own vehicle or a rental car, Kidani has one transportation feature that I think is incredibly underrated. A lot of the parking is covered underneath the resort building and in the parking garage. And because Kidani is such a long resort, there are multiple elevators serving different sections. So rather than always having to park near the lobby and walk all the way through the building, you may be able to park underneath the section closer to your villa and take the nearest elevator up. That means your car stays cooler in the Florida sun, you have protection if one of those Florida downpours starts, and when you have kids, luggage, groceries, a stroller, or everybody is exhausted after a park day, being closer to your room can be extremely convenient. So if you already prefer driving yourself around Walt Disney World, I would actually consider Kidani's parking a major advantage. Now, if you're relying on Disney transportation, Kidani still has one advantage worth knowing. Kidani Village has its own bus stop close to the lobby. And although Kidani and Jambo House generally share theme park bus routes, Kidani is usually the first pickup for the theme parks. That can mean first access to the seats before the bus heads over to Jambo House. And when you're returning from the parks, Kidani is also generally the first Animal Kingdom Lodge stop. So after a long park day, you may be getting off the bus before the guests heading over to Jambo House. Disney transportation can always vary, so I would never treat bus stop order as an absolute guarantee, but if you're specifically comparing Kidani with Jambo House, it's a small Kidani advantage that I think is worth knowing. The bigger transportation trade-off is still that you have no walkable park, no Skyliner, and no monorail. So transportation is one of the biggest factors I would consider when deciding if Kidani fits the way your family vacations. And you can always use the minivan, which is our family's personal favorite way of getting to the parks. And now we're at number 9, the tip I told you to stay for. First, you do not have to pay for a Savanna view room to see the animals at Kidani. There are public Savanna overlooks around the resort where you can sit and enjoy the wildlife even if your room doesn't overlook a savanna. So if waking up, walking into your own balcony and seeing giraffes is one of your Disney bucket list experiences, then absolutely consider paying for Savanna View. But if you're trying to save money, you can stay in another room category and still experience the animals from these public areas. And here's the bigger tip. You don't even necessarily have to stay at Kidani Village. One of the easiest ways to experience this resort is to make a dining reservation at Savanna. Come over for your reservation, explore the lobby, look at the artwork, spend some time at the Savanna Overlook, and experience some of the atmosphere that makes Kidani so unique. And Savanna itself continues a lot of the design storytelling from the resort. The word Savanna means artwork in Swahili, and the restaurant is designed with elements inspired by an East African spice market. It overlooks Sunset Savanna, so depending on where you're seated and where the animals are, you can potentially be dining while animals are right outside. We ate at Savanna on this trip, and I will be creating a video with our full experience soon, so make sure that you're subscribed to see that. But even if you never book a room here, Savanna plus the Savanna Overlook is one of my favorite ways to get a taste of the Kidani experience. So after this Kidani Village walkthrough, who do I actually think should stay here? I think Kidani makes a lot of sense for larger families and multi-generational groups, especially because of those villa layouts and extra bathrooms. I think it's a great choice for animal lovers because the wildlife isn't just something you look at once. Watching the Savanna can become part of your actual resort time. I think it works especially well for repeat Disney visitors who don't feel like they have to spend every possible minute in the parks. I would also seriously consider it if you have your own vehicle, because the covered parking and multiple elevator locations make driving here much more convenient than people may expect. And I think it's a great option for anyone who wants a Disney vacation that feels a little more peaceful and removed from the constant park atmosphere. Who would I hesitate to recommend this to? If this is your first Disney vacation and your only priority is maximizing park time, if you want to make multiple quick trips back and forth between your resort and the parks, or if having a walkable park, Skyliner access, or monorail access is extremely important to you. There may be another deluxe resort that makes more sense, and I think that's the interesting thing about Kidani. Its biggest disadvantage and biggest advantage are almost the same thing. It feels removed. For some people, that's inconvenient. But if sitting by this fire pit in a rocking chair, watching giraffes and zebras wander around the Savanna sounds like part of your dream Disney vacation, then being a little removed might be exactly the point. If this Kidani Village walkthrough helped you decide whether Kidani might be right for your family, make sure you like this video and subscribe because we have a lot more coming from Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. And make sure you watch this video next for our full Animal Kingdom Lodge check-in day with 2 Animal Kingdom Lodge restaurants and other helpful tips for your vacation. I'll see you real soon!